All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Take this down a little bit. It's Friday, June 6th, episode 2250 something. So, hope you're doing well today. I wanted to offer you the chance, if you wanted, to ask some questions. It's a good Friday to be here. So how can I be of best service? What questions do you have burning about your business, about mindset, about understanding how to take yourself to the next level, dealing with shame, putting all that stuff in order? Questions, comments, thoughts. Shirt's a little big for me. Could be a short call today. Hey, AJ.
Yeah, I wanted to see if someone's gonna get sold, but sold to AJ at Serbia at $1.50. Here's a question for you. This is what I've been thinking about yesterday.
Yep.
So I've been thinking about, and I never thought about this before. That's funny, isn't it?
Huh.
I never thought about opposites before, in terms of opposite highs and opposite lows and so on and so forth. Because I actually finished my mind pillar with chat, so I'm gonna continue on to finances today.
Okay.
And after it made my vision statement. Just go and open that up here. I asked it to uh, go back and analyze the answers I gave, and then to give me, apart from the vision statement, also give me the analysis of my mind, um, with the statement. Right?
Right.
Let's see here. And it did give me one thing that I thought about over the last couple of days. Uh, yes. Um, Thing is, the challenge is apparently, and I know that this is true, is the duality of identity.
Okay.
That's the challenge. And the question that follows is, since there's equal and opposite highs and lows during the day, I noticed that they come out swinging. They come out swinging. And I just want to make sure to understand uh, how to kind of prepare for the blows. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Of the lows, because they do hit. And I get myself thinking, overthink actually in a bad way. And all of this happens throughout the day. So it's kind of like a roller coaster. It happens throughout the day multiple times. Goes over there, comes back, goes over there, comes back. So that's a challenge currently.
So ask, see if you could answer or see if you can narrow down who roller coasters, who's aware of the roller coastering, because if you're on a roller coaster, you don't really know it. So somebody has to be aware of the low, because the low version of you only knows the low version of you. There's nothing wrong with the low version of you. It's only the high version who knows there's something different. The high version of you doesn't know anything's wrong with the high version of you. So now the question is who's witnessing this? If you get mad, and that's not your standard state, your typical state, your default mode network, then it's not you who gets mad. There's something that pops up. There's something that pops in. There's a program that needs to run that says, wait a minute, I need space. How do you know that your low is low? This is for everybody. How do you know your low is low? How do you know your high is high? How do you know your low is not as low as you've ever been? So the lows you're experiencing, have you ever been that low before? That's the question.
Oh, sorry about that. This is the imagery I'm getting. Maybe it will make more sense
Okay,
to kind of articulate what's going on.
sure.
You know, when, for example, when Mason was little, and you guys would be walking down Walmart or whatever, and all of a sudden he does something so unexpected, like maybe cusses or starts jumping or whatever, and it's totally unexpected, like a little kid would do. And then you're like, "Whoa, hey there, oh, hold on." That's kind of how I feel when these things come, because I would be just randomly driving, and I would see somebody or I would see something, and I would get triggered for whatever stupid reason that doesn't make sense at all, and it just kind of just like all of a sudden, no prep, no warning, no kind of warning shot or whatever, just comes out totally unexpected. I'm like, whoa, hey, hold on. And then it happens throughout the day. That's kind of how it happens. Just
Okay.
totally out of the blue, unexpected. And I'm like, what's going on?
So does anything
That's
happen in our lives unexpectedly?
yeah. I mean, yeah.
You think?
I mean, I don't know. Curious to find out if they do or not.
So everything happens for us. Doesn't happen to us. If it happens unexpectedly, it's happening to us. So it's the frame of reference. When these things pop up that trigger you and you get triggered, they're all around you. You just happen to be noticing the things that trigger you. Have you noticed how many things don't trigger you? So where's your reticular activation system focused? On the things to trigger you or the things to not trigger you? If you're having highs and lows, they're on the things to trigger you. What are you focused on in between the high and the low? Well, I'm not aware of anything. So you're focusing on an extreme experience.
Yes, that's kind of that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
yet isn't the if the high and the low is uncomfortable, how is it that this moment is not the most incredible moment that exists? What makes this not the highest high or the lowest low? What makes this moment right now, this moment, not the lowest low that gets triggered into a social media post or a journal statement or a journal log entry, or not the highest high, it makes it into a log entry? How is this not a you won't believe it moment? Isn't this a you won't believe it moment? It's never existed in the history of history. We've never been in this moment. How could this not be a you won't believe it moment?
Just looked at the clock. It's 1:11 p.m.
Huh.
You won't believe what happened. I don't want to say that highs are not comfortable. Highs are very comfortable for
Then
me.
why aren't lows very comfortable?
Because I don't want them. I want less of them.
Okay, so but you're the one making them comfortable. Did everybody else, when they see the low that you saw, suffer the same way you suffered?
Probably not.
Nobody was even aware of your low.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Let's
So
say.
a high isn't high because we're comparing, right? So let's look at let's do the comparison thing. The chair you're in, is it bigger or smaller than the headphones you're wearing?
That chair is bigger,
The
obviously.
chair versus the restaurant you're in, is the chair bigger or smaller?
Smaller.
How can the chair in the same moment be both bigger or smaller?
Depending on the comparison, I guess.
And that's all you're doing now is you're trying to negotiate with the non-negotiable of comparison. Comparison is your choice, not anybody else's. You're uncomfortable right now because I'm kind of gigging you and grilling you. Everybody else is going, I'm glad it's him, not me, because I don't have to be that. I like the lesson I'm learning or not. But we are in our own world, and our world is what we make of it. So you get mad, you get happy. Congratulations. It's your thought. You have a high. Awesome. Listen, if you had a high, could you instantly have a low? Could you have a low in the same exact moment? If you have a low, could you have a high in the exact same moment? Doesn't it have to exist? Not maybe exist, have to exist. The laws of the universe say it has to exist. If you are this high, you can be that. If this is normal, you can be that low. And if you're that low, you can be that high. We make it rocket science. It's really not.
Yeah, I've been going around yesterday afternoon thinking about how I'm going to ask you this today.
Cool. That's an awesome
Because
question.
it's been going on for a couple of days. And
Sure.
I was
So
like,
what's it been distracting you from?
the work.
The sharpening of the saw.
Yeah. So then I ask who's making me avoid work?
And what's the answer?
The PABs, baby.
Well,
That's
and
the
here's the
answer.
key. So we have to become aware. And this is in my 40 years of doing this, it has become abundantly true that whenever we have good things happen that are beyond our expression or explanation, we will find a way to bring it into a way to explain it. And it's usually through despair, through aggravation, through frustration, through pointing a finger at something else. That's the problem. It's not the problem. See, we all have this contract. We have this pact. You don't tell them about my lies, and I won't tell them about your lies. We have this pact. And the only way we create freedom is we burn the contract. I do my best on a regular basis to become fully aware of where I'm lacking. I don't want to get better at lack. When you think about lack, you bring about lack. We have to ask the alternate question. What version of me, what operating system of me is still running that's a lack running program? People, my gosh, your life is so amazing. You have so many good things happen to you. You'd be amazed at the attacks that happen in my world. Do you ever hear about them? Why not? The attacks that happen, the attacks that come through my world, they're at me. I think it's kind of, it's like spitballs at a battleship. It still gets attacked. So how can you sit in your sovereignty? That's what we want. We want freedom. We want success. We want freedom. The challenge is when freedom shows up. Imagine right now. Imagine today. Freedom shows up, sits down across the table from you and says, where are we going? If it is not in your operating system, you say, I don't know. I would like more money. Boom, got more money. Where do we go? Imagine if everything you asked for came to you in this moment. What would you be asking for? You know why? I think the story, I've never read this. Do you know why the genie gives you three? This is for anybody. Why the genie gives you three wishes? And why it's always a dilemma and why it's always if a genie gave you three wishes, what would you wish for? Geez, I don't know. How is that not possible? It's because we don't focus on it. We never think we can get what we want. Well, I can promise you this. I promise you this. Science agrees with it. Faith agrees with it. Religion agrees with it. Atheism agrees with it. What you think about, you bring about. What you have is what you got. And what you have is what you got because it existed in your mind before it ever showed up. Everything you have existed in your mind before it showed up. So the reason it gives you 3 wishes is because that's perplexity. Most people don't really clearly have what they want. And what happens is we hear the stories all the time about people who win the lottery. What happens to the people who win big money? They wind up in more debt than when they started. Typically, not everybody, typically. The majority of people, when they win large sums of money, wind up in more debt, right? Look at in America, look at sports players. There's very few people who become financially stable, who create financial success. Most burn through it like crazy. And here's the challenge. We burn through time, which is the most powerful resource we have. We burn through it faster than we burn through money. And at the end, we have no more time. And we're sad we didn't invest it. I should have done this. We live in the shoulda, coulda, woulda world. So your high isn't a high because you're going to have bigger and better things come into your life. And your low isn't a low. What might be the challenge is that it distracts you enough to keep you from the work of the high you're currently sitting in. You're 24 years old. You seem to have some freedom. You have a level of freedom that nobody around you has. Typically, nobody around you has, doing what you do. So you become insulated because nobody understands you. And through insulation, we become isolated. And then we stop plugging in and playing our part. The high and the lows that you were experiencing were self-inflicted. When you're dealing with self-infliction, it's time to have somebody tie your hands. And the way you have somebody tie your hands is you go live your mission statement. You go serve somebody. Did you bring carrots, donuts, peanuts, or bananas to anybody yesterday?
No, I did not. Oh, sorry. I actually visited my friend, the guy that lives in the suburbs, and I brought them some souvenirs from Dubai and stuff.
Awesome. So what state were you in when you were doing that?
That was great. It was great.
What state? Great in the state. Were you in a high or a low?
High state.
Okay, so then do you really not like those people?
I do like them.
Okay, so then why would you ever create an echo of their memory in a low state?
Oh. Well,
So we made it very selfish. You might have been in a low state before you went to see him. You're like, okay, I'm on my way. Oh, somebody cut me off this, that, or the other. Okay, I'm going to see my friend. You plugged through and you went on. You got there, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so great. How was Dubai? Tell me about it. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, this is great. You got to create camaraderie, compassion. You got to hear people were amazed by you. The challenge is that if too many people keep patting you on the back, you want to disappear. This is for all of us. One of the things that for the last 4 years or 5 years, maybe 4 years, I've emceed the ANMP. Talk about blowing smoke up a skirt. I'm the MC along with the president of the ANMP. I stand on stage. I see all of my friends. I'm in the back. I get to introduce them. I get to have conversations. I get to stand in front of a crowd for 3 days. It's like putting a drug addict inside the biggest house with all of the free drugs. People are in the bar. I get to go see them, blah, 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 yada, yada. This just moment after moment after moment. And every year it gets better because our relationships grow, our relationships deepen. From about a week before the ANMP starts, I am prepping myself, preparing for the actions that may come in that seem like sabotage. There is no sabotage. There is nothing that happens to you wrong. It's only what you become aware of. You realize that, right? Hopefully you realize that. When I screw something up here on the ranch and get mad, it's like, well, that was just dumb. It's because what I was aware of. Could it have been worse? Yes. So that really wasn't dumb. If a gate's open and somebody goes in it instead of out of it, if the sheep got out, one time I left the gate open by the feed bucket, and Nola got out, and the babies got out, and everybody got out. I'm like, oh my gosh. The same gate that I cussed, meaning, oh, you stupid. Why didn't I just close that? I knew they'd do that, is the same gate they went back through. The gate wasn't the problem. How I saw the gate changed upon how the universe was delivering me results. The sheep got out through a gate. Your energy left out through a gate. You got a low. Energy came back through the same gate. You got a high. It's not the gate's fault. Why do I have a high and a low? We're blaming the gate. It's how we interpret how things flow through the gate. All that is that's why Jim Rohn says, right? Jim Rohn's story. Your worst enemy comes by and dumps arsenic in your worst enemy comes by and puts sugar in your coffee. Worst enemy. What do you have? Sweet coffee. Your best friend accidentally puts a drop of arsenic in your coffee. What do you have? Poison. Moral of the story, your mind is like that coffee cup. Guard your mind. Bad people can give you good things and good people can give you bad things. That's your responsibility. You didn't have highs and lows yesterday. How do I know? Because you're going to have bigger highs and bigger lows. So these weren't highs and lows. These were moments of time. You labeled them. And giving something a label is racist. It is. If it's not true. So the high you had yesterday, it won't even register on your high market in a week. Your low, sorry to say this, isn't even going to register. So now the question is who distracted me? That's the typical question. The really big question is, where did my attraction go? Where did my focus go? Where did my DMP go? You don't have ups and downs in your DMP. You can't get mad at people in your DMP. You don't. You just don't, period, end of story. If you have a space to get mad, you're not focused on stuff. You got nothing going on. That's shame's way of allowing it to mask itself as, why aren't things going good for me? It's really what that is. Oh, shame again? And if you got triggered when I said that, that's because shame is there. There's nothing wrong with it. You can't get mad that shame shows up. It's just simply a programming. It's not who you are. It's a programming that runs. Let me ask you this. Is there a food you don't like or that you might be allergic to? AJ?
Allergic. I'm not. No. I don't like. I don't like the green stuff, man. Like the
Okay.
stuff
So if
like
you don't like green stuff and somebody sitting next to you likes green stuff, you sit the whole time going, I don't know how you eat that stuff. That stuff is nasty.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a program you have. I can promise you, if you're not allergic to it and your body doesn't reject it, and that's the only thing that was available to eat, you'd eat it. You just have a comfort zone that says, "No, I really don't like it."
That I know that's true because I've been eating hospital food for like 3 months, and
Yeah,
that's yeah, that's true. You got nothing else to eat, buddy. You're gonna
that's all
you're
you
gonna
got.
ask for
And
seconds. Yeah.
and you didn't have enough people to bring you food in. That maybe they couldn't bring you food. Well, here's the thing: whoever brought you your high was giving you hospital food, and whoever brought you your low was giving you hospital food. How could you not stay in a high if you didn't like it? That's the thing that just puzzles me. I find that so fascinating. When people have a high, they leave it. They leave it and go back to average. They literally seek the pain. I get very confused. I find that fascinating, which is why I'm looking for, if somebody's in a high, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I'm having such a great time. My business is going and everything is happening. And then a week later, you can pretty much guarantee some kind of chaos is going to show up. Maybe it is because some people wish it upon them. Typically not. They'll hear it. Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. Oh, I'm so lucky. I shouldn't be so lucky. I'm making people feel uncomfortable. I should have a panic attack. And I'll be darned if you don't have a panic attack. Oh my God, I got so sick the other day. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Really? Oh, you're just like us. Okay, you can now stay in the group. This is why that statement, you are the average of the 5 people you most hang around. Start asking the people around you how much they make. Or guess how much they make. And your money will be somewhere right in the middle. And if you're at the top of that food chain, you better get out of that room quick because they are fixing to take you out. I was having a conversation with a brilliant brain the other day, and they said, I need to get out more. Like, what does that mean? Well, I need to get out in society more. I've been staying home. I think you do very well in society. You have all of the skills, all of the talents, and you do very well in society. We start to put our lamp in the Bible. I don't know where it comes from, but they say, don't put your lamp under a bushel basket. You got the light lit. Why are you hiding it? So your high is I'm seen. Your low is you weren't seen. What makes your high high? What is the source of your high? What is the formula that gets you into this elevated state? When you were yesterday in your highs and your lows, how often did you repeat your DMP? It's predictable. When somebody's, because I have a tendency to poke the bear, to put you on your tracks. And when people call me when they're off their tracks, I'd say, so what's your story? What do you mean, what's my story? Things aren't going well. Okay, is that your story? No, then why are you telling it? And then logic kicks in because this is a logical statement. If you believe in the law of attraction, if you have some basic fundamental rules that you follow, and you believe in the law of attraction, do you believe that your thoughts can influence your day? And if the answer to that is yes, then why would you ever be in an uncomfortable state? Even when you're in an uncomfortable state, you still got to come up with a solution that would make it not as uncomfortable. Isn't that right? I mean, if we're sick, we do things, okay, I need to sleep better, I need to eat better, and you do your best to get well. You start to take some nutritionals or vitamins, or maybe you have to take a prescription medicine. You take it because that's what your body needs now. It needs help. Yet when we're frustrated, we go through the DIY method. I got to do this on my own. And the challenge is that when we're in a high, we don't ask anybody either. My gosh, I feel so good right now. What do I need to do to stay here? Everybody asks, what do I need to do to get out of my hell? You know what? I don't get any questions. I get very rarely. There's 1 in 1,000 who say, hey, listen, I'm having the best day ever. What can I do to stay here? Nobody calls me then. Everybody thinks, let me do it the DIY method. Let me tell you how amazing my day is. And let me show you the formula for it. How do I sharpen this? How do I keep this present? How do I stay in this great state? Everybody says, how do I get out of trouble? How do I build this? I'd say there's a pattern. We don't want to study success. We'll study failure till the wheels fall off. And when we study failure, we blame a lot of things around us. My company let me go. They changed the comp plan, blah, 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 name 1,001 things. They changed the ingredients in the product. I had a company that their flagship product, and they made claims for their first however many years that we use the best of the best. We went out to find the best of the best, and we want to use the best of the best. And they changed one of the core ingredients that was the best of the best because somebody said, we have all these customers, they're buying all this stuff. If we could just save 15 cents per unit, right? Completed unit of the product. Do you know how much money that would put in our pockets? And they did it. And this was a Wallace D. Waddles thing. It's not about doing certain things. It's about doing them in a certain way. The core ingredient that they changed had such a synergistic effect inside of whatever the other ingredients were. It wasn't this plus this plus this. It was what this thing created. And the frequency and the energy that shifted because they simply sourced a lesser by 2% efficacy product, company about went out of business. What are you sourcing? What is your ingredient for a good day? What is your ingredient for a bad day? You realize you have the recipe. If you know what a good day is and you know what a bad day is, you have a recipe. My question to you is why do you cook either one? And if you have a choice to cook either one because you know what a bad day is, listen, your bad day to you is probably not a bad day to me. My bad day to me is probably not a bad day to you. It's my recipe. So if I run a recipe, then who's the cook? Who's the chef? And who bought the ingredients? There was a show. It didn't last that long. They would randomly, supposedly, I'm sure there had to be some prep, knock on somebody's door, and the chef would say, I'm going to cook dinner tonight with whatever's in your kitchen. And sometimes it was some amazing stuff. And they're like, I don't know how you made this from that. But that's a chef. That's what he's supposed to do. Because most people eat. There's food in the house. So that would be my suggestion to you is you are the chef of your good days and your bad days. Why are you cooking bad days? Why are you cooking bad moments? In this moment, you have a choice, joy or misery. Nobody held a gun to your head and said, you need to be sad now. I don't think they did. Nobody did that, did they? It's possible. Yeah. So ask your question again. Same information. What's the real question you want to ask? Because that was just a distraction to be okay with having highs and lows. Why do I have highs and lows? I don't know. It's stupid.
Here's a thought that
Good.
I had,
Thinking is good.
and I am curious to find out whether it was a Hail Mary attempt in between those low
Okay.
moments, or is it, or if there really is some truth to it. You know, working on all of this stuff and how time goes, and the more time that passes, I feel as if I'm compounding on all the work that we've done since December.
Right.
And for a short moment yesterday, in between these low moments, I had this thought that is all of this happening, you know, because this never happened before, or maybe it did, but I was not aware of it, right?
Well, yeah. It
It
it happened.
definitely did.
Everything that's happening happens every day.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. That's a big statement. Everything that happens every day. The trees are still there. The road is still there. The car is still there. All of the inanimate things that are in your life happen every day. You're the only one that interprets it. So go ahead with your question.
And I thought to myself, you know, is all of this happening right now, me becoming aware of all these things, is it preparing me for the next step? You know, did I do enough work to get to the next step? That's what I thought.
Okay. And what's the
And I
answer?
was like, and I think the answer is yes, man. I think that all of these awarenesses, all these conversations we had, and we have currently, and we will have, are possible now. I know they've been available all the time, but
Sure.
they're possible right now. And
So
I
what's
thought to
the next
myself,
step?
well, that's the everlasting question.
It's not. That's the
Ah,
illusion. There is no, the next step is the now. So you're always prepared for the now. It's just what luggage did you bring to get on your flight for the now?
yeah,
Napoleon Hill said, when we were born, you're born with two envelopes. One says riches, one's poverty. Which envelope are you going to open?
which is
Well, and then
obviously
so
the
if this is the richest moment, could there be any richer moment than right now for you? For any of us? As soon as you become aware that this is the most powerful, precious, the ever generous present moment, as Joe Dispenza refers to it, the ever present generous moment. What's available to you in this moment? What's the potential in this moment? What's the potential? Not what you're doing, what you have, anything else. What is available to you? Is there anything that's limiting you receiving all that you would like? Then how could you ever be sad? That's shame, addiction to approval. How could you ever get mad? Can you learn from an ant? Can you learn from a mosquito? Can you learn from a cockatoo or a toucan or an eagle? Can you learn from a vicious dog? Can you learn from a happy dog? Everything is a learning moment. Can you learn from the table? Teach me the leadership story about the table you're sitting at. If you're not paying attention to the things that are all around you, this is a, for those of you that don't know what this is, some of you could recognize its shape. Well, that's a quart of oil. What's the leadership story for a quart of oil? Leadership is like this little quart of oil that I have in my hands. It's the lubrication. Your ability to lead yourself is the lubrication that determines how fast or how much friction you're going to have in your life. If you have friction in your life, you might lack some leadership, some self-leadership. Just like this oil. This oil isn't doing anybody any good right now. Is this oil doing anybody any good right now? The only one it did is the one who sold it. This is personal development right here in a bottle. I bought it. It performs when it's put in a piece of equipment and runs. So I spent, I don't know, $8 on this quart of oil, and it's not producing any return because it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to reduce the friction in a moving device. That's personal development. If you're having friction in your life, you are out of leadership, period. Self-leadership. If you are having friction in your life, maybe you're getting a little slow and you're a little tired and you're frustrated. It's time to change the oil. You have a low day, that's leadership. You have a high day and don't stay there, that's leadership. That's letting the outside world, your environment, dictated to you, good or bad. I'm curious how that happens. I'm really curious how you can, with the sun coming up, and it's just, we're here. There's people on their knees today. Some are in tears and some are in joy. It's how we determine, it's our interpretation of how we look at life. So you got to ask the question, who got low, who got high? And if the answer is, well, that made me feel good and that made me feel bad, then that's outside of you. Epictetus said, for those of you with desire, put it on a shelf until such time you discern and determine what's in your circle of influence and what's outside your circle of influence. The attacks that come my way aren't from social media. They're from people I know. Nobody who doesn't know me nobody who doesn't know you isn't going to attack you. There are people out there in the 7 billion people of population that would think you're just a whack job. They think I was a whack job. Then there's other people that go, oh my God, I'm so glad I found you. Maslow said, be independent of the good opinion of other people. We're wired to be, well, don't worry about what people say about you negatively. Okay, so what are you saying? Feed my ego. I'll pay attention to people who tell me good things. For what? Doesn't do you any good. You won't stay there. Imagine you found this restaurant and then never went back. Oh my God, that was such a great place. I had such a great experience. Why won't you go back? Your friends who went with you to the steakhouse in whatever it is, they had just across the border. Why won't they go back? Listen carefully. Listen carefully to the answer. What's the absolute biggest reason they won't go back? What is it? Why won't they go back?
Oh, they won't go back because they don't feel like they belong there.
So why don't you belong in your joy?
Smart ass.
Now, here's how they'll explain it. They will never tell you we don't belong there. What will they say? They'll come up with excuses.
It's a long drive. It's this, it's that, blah, blah, blah.
Too
whatever.
far away. How far away is your joy? It's as close as your skin. That's why you get mad. So your joy is as close as your skin. It's not that far away. You don't have to go very far to be joyful. Smile. Just smile. Everybody, just smile. Even if you fake it, your body's going, oh, you're smiling. Okay. And then you're like, ah, this is stupid. Who said it's stupid? You want more joy in your life. And I just said, I encouraged you. I offered you a chance to be in joy. Smile. This is stupid. Who said this is stupid? Your shame molecule. So it's too far away. It costs too much.
That is definitely one of the top reasons for
So
this.
does it cost too much to be joyful? Do they
It's
have
not.
access? Listen carefully. Do those people have access? Not that they're going to do it, but is money available to them? And if money is available to them, would they use it to go to that place to find joy? No, it's too far away. They'll spend money locally. Could they save money? Do they have the ability? Do you think right now, do you think they have the ability to save some money? Could they save $5 a week?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so they could save the money. They already have the abundance. The challenge is they're not saving it. You're not saving your highs. You're saving your lows. Would you like interest on your money? This is for everybody. I mean, it's a logical question. Would you like interest on your money? Most people would say, yes, I would love to earn interest. I would love to let my money sit there and earn interest. How much interest would you like? Oh my God, 3% would be ridiculous. 3% a year, 3% a month. 3% a month would be phenomenal. How about 10% a month, right? People get into real estate, make 10, 20% a month on average. We were on averaging 60% a month. We would flip homes, right? You got to buy the bad, fix it up, and then sell it. So, but we were making 60% on our money. That's a pretty good gig, isn't it? A month on average. The challenge is it's on average. There were some months where it was 60% in loss. So you gotta, okay, average it though. We know, okay, we made a mistake, we learned, we still average 60 a month, 60% return on a month. Oh my gosh, could you imagine if the contractor we hired that caused us to not make a profit that month, do you think we rehired him? Logically. Do you think we rehired the contractor that cost us money? Why do you keep rehiring the thoughts that are costing you money? Why do you keep rehiring the aggravation that causes you to get mad? It really doesn't make sense. Yet we're not taking the time to investigate it, to look at it, how unsensible it seems. You know what was the worst thing to stop the flow of drugs into the country, in the United States? I can't speak for other countries. I don't live there. The worst thing that happened in the United States, my opinion, on drugs is that we declared a war on drugs. If we declared a war on drugs 40 years ago, 30 years ago, what has to happen if you declare a war? You got to have a war. You got to have a battle. And has the influx of drugs increased or decreased since we started the war on drugs? It has increased significantly. Opioid deaths, 300,000 a year. Some absolutely insane number. And you know when those deaths are important? When it happens to somebody. Nobody gets mad when it's happening out there. They only get mad when it happens in their neighborhood. Poverty is in your neighborhood. Lack is in your neighborhood. One of two things. Work to fix it or work to get the hell out. And that's what social media has allowed us, is the chance to get out of our lack. The reality is that I see other people's success, and then when I turn off the computer, that's why scrolling is so important. I want to see what great things are happening so I could be jealous, and I want to see what bad things are happening so I could feel good. When we see when we see some of those videos where the person is riding and they walk into a street sign and we laugh, that's called Schadenfreude, right? When we feel we get humor out of somebody else's pain. We love it. We laugh. They fall down and crack their butt. We think it's just, oh my gosh, mirror neurons. If you've ever watched anybody on a TV screen who you don't know walk into a sign and went, oh, your body flinch, that's mirror neurons. So you got to ask yourself, if you are mirroring what's happening in your world and you're mad right now, you are seeing, only thing you're seeing is mad stuff. That's the only thing you can see. If you're joyful and people are like, oh my God, you're nuts. Have you not seen what society's doing and what's happening now and this, that, or the other? So long answer to why have a high and a low? Just pick one. You want to have a crappy day? Have a crappy day. Lynn Grabhorn in her book says, excuse me, your life is waiting. The reason we get exhausted in personal development, the reason we get frustrated in personal development, the reason we get exhausted as an entrepreneur is because we have a choice. Entrepreneur means choice. And what most people are not entrepreneurs. They're elevated artists. I shouldn't say there's not one person. There's less than 1%, less than 1/10 of 1%. It gets really small group of people who I have enrolled, people who I have talked to, people who I have coached, people who I have helped in 3 ways. I've been exposed to a lot of people who want to start in the profession of the side gig, the side hustle, network marketing. In the thousands and thousands of conversations I've had, in the thousands and thousands of hours of dialogue I've had, there's 1 or 2 people I can remember who said, how much can I sell my business for? Great question. Ask me that again in a different way. I want to build an organization. Can you sell your network marketing business? Would somebody buy it? Is there profit in a network marketing business? Not individual profit. Can I build a business and profit from it? You know who asked me those questions? True entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur will look to start a business, sell it, and go start another one because they love the hunt. Most people don't love the hunt in network marketing. They hate the hunt. That's called sales. That's called building a business. Nobody really likes that. They want it done for them. In my 24 years, coming up on 25 years, in my 20 plus years of association with the profession, it is not uncommon for people to say, well, my upline never put anybody in my business. I'm sorry. How many people are McDonald's putting in Burger King? But they're in the hamburger industry. Doesn't the hamburger industry fight the chicken industry? You look at Chick-fil-A, right? It's the cows saying, eat more chicken, right? Great marketing. That's the beef versus the chicken market. So my whole conversation with you is this. If you're mad, how's that working for you? If you're expecting somebody to come save you, how's that working for you? Mel Robbins says that all the time. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. Somewhere, you found a fortune cookie. Somebody found a fortune cookie that said, if I just keep going long enough, somebody will fix it all. The answer to that is yes. What it didn't say in the fortune cookie is you've got to take new roads to find new solutions. If you wake up every morning and look in the mirror and the mirror is cracked, would you buy a new mirror? Most people are looking at a cracked mirror called their own reflection, and they're just finding one little sliver of possibility, and they see everything else cracked. You either got to fix the cracks or just focus on that one little sliver. But the challenge is the view never changes. You know what they say about sled dogs, right? For anybody behind the leader, the view never changes. They're always looking at their butt. The view doesn't change. They're always looking at their butt. If you're in a line hoping that you can get to the front of it, your view's not going to change till you step out of line. Keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep having what you're having. And to think you're going to get something different isn't going to change. So great question. Probably not a joyful answer until you realize
the answer, no, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The answer makes a lot of sense, because what has happened also over the last couple of days, and I've been writing that off simply as attacks, is that for some reason, curious to find out what the reason is, but for some reason, I've been getting these hospital flashbacks again, and I haven't had that in months.
Wow.
And for some reason, they happened again. I was like, what?
So hospital, a good memory or bad memory?
No, bad.
How is it bad? You're alive. Bad memory be you're dead.
Yeah.
That'd be a real crappy memory.
Even you said yikes. That was business, man. That was some real business right there.
Hospital memory. Is it alive today?
No.
You give it life.
Oh.
It's not an old story. It's a today story. You're in the hospital today. If you're feeling like crap or nervous or, man, that's frustrated, you're in it today. It is not an old story. There are no old stories. There are no new stories. There's only the now that you choose to vibrate in. Period. Period. Not a scientist can say it's any different. Not a philosopher would say any different. There's no old story. There's no new story. There's only the now story. It's what you're telling in it. I see the pictures that you sent. I'm like, oh my gosh, he made it. I think it's pretty cool. You crossed a finish line called health and normal and started a new race called repair and recovery. Why would you go back to the starting line? You already were there. Why do you need to go back there? And the reason they're showing up is because it couldn't come up with anything else. Your story, your programming couldn't come up with anything else to distract you from all of the great things happening in your life right now. So it came up with the thing that is mostly highly emotional. You were alone. You were by yourself, a dead guy in the bed next to you for 2 days. Oh my gosh, look at how I suffer. You're sitting in a freaking restaurant called love and you're suffering? Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely gone round the bend, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? You are sitting with health and wealth and the resources to have things fixed and to be able to go ask for help and ask for support. Is your wound infected or is it still slow healing?
Slow healing.
Would you rather it infected?
No.
No. So this is pretty freaking awesome. Slow healing is awesome, better than infected, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the guy on Monday and he's gonna do some repairing. He's not gonna do a skin graft again because that would be a bigger stress.
Yeah,
but he's
my
gonna.
question is, see how fast you wanted to avoid the conversation. Why are you allowing yourself to get infected? You're slow healing. Why are you allowing your mind to get infected?
That's an interesting question.
Yeah. Well, and this is what happens. It becomes, oh my gosh, I didn't believe I was doing this to myself. No, you allowed a part of you to not be in control, to allow the old story to show up, to become the new story. That's all.
Good stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome. Rest of you, what'd you learn? What'd you like? What's your takeaways? Anyone? Any questions, comments, thoughts? The whole key to understanding this, I shouldn't say the whole key, one of the most powerful keys to understanding this and relating this back to yourself is that nobody can make you upset without your permission, and nobody can make you happy without your permission. You read something in the news. Well, yeah, we know that sometimes the news wants to use titles and headlines to get your attention. What headlines are you reading that are allowing you to stay on a particular course, right? The one thing, the biggest challenge is that when we talk about something, we make it so. Think you're right, think you're wrong. Either way, you're right. What do you think about? What's the vibration? If you believe at all, if you have the slightest belief at all in the law of attraction, it doesn't matter what you are asking for. It will deliver. You think somebody's mad at you? You'll come up with 1,001 things to think somebody's mad at you. If they ever become not mad at you, or if they ever were not mad at you, they're not mad at you. That's a temporary thing. And the reason temporary things last so long is because we keep talking about the temporary thing, and the law of attraction has to, well, that's what you're talking about. I got to make it happen. That's what you're talking about. I got to make it happen. That's what the universe is saying. Your wish is my command. Anything that's troubling you right now, I'd offer you to go write 10 things you're grateful about that thing. And you'll see a shift if you're truly grateful for them. Now, well, I'm just doing this exercise. If you're checking the box for strategy, well, I was told to go write 10 things I'm grateful about this thing that's aggravating, that person who's ticking me off, or that company who's making me mad, or that law that was passed. Why is that a bad thing? Why I'm frustrated with that. Why somebody quit my business? Why is that bad? Why is that good? Why would I be grateful for somebody quitting my business? You'd be surprised that the law of opposites is true. And the reason that sometimes we don't see why why bad things are good things is shame. We got to maintain our story. And if the simple fact of mentioning shame, oh, I don't have shame. Okay. They're usually the biggest addicts. Think about somebody who's an alcoholic or a drug addict. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with drugs. I don't have a problem with alcohol. Dude, you're drunk every day by 2:00. That's just, you don't understand the stress of my life. I don't have a problem. Oh, okay. And they don't. They think they really honestly believe they don't. But you talk to 5 of their good friends, not necessarily their closest friends, 5 of their good friends, and you see a pattern. Oh yeah, they're alcoholics. They have no control. And all 5 of them say that, but the person who is the one that they're pointing the finger at saying they have no control says, I got all the control I need. You just got to be, you have to pay attention that if everything is a problem, you might need to look in the mirror. Why? How is everything a problem if it's not the same problem for everyone? If you want more of what you want, and less of what you don't. You're going to have to do something you've never done, which requires you to think a way you've never thought, feel a way you've never felt, to achieve something you've never had. And then once you achieve something you've never had, it's so new, we're not sure what to do, and we wind up kicking the legs out from under ourselves. We advance, we fall back. We advance, we fall back. Not quite as far as the start, sometimes farther. But most people, my guess is that you've got more expenses today than you did 50 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 years ago. You've acquired more things. You might be worth more money now than you were 20 years ago or 30 years ago. You might have paid off some debt. You might have equity in something. My question is what is the equity you have in your own development? Most people spend more on the outside of their head than they do on the inside of their head. The average person spends about 600, spends about, in the US, spends about $600 a year on the outside of their head. Average spends about $6 on the inside. Now, some of you make up the average, make up the money for a lot of people who don't spend a penny on their mind. I get it. But the average person, the person you're about to go offer an opportunity, speak to an environment. Why I look at Latin America? Why are so many people business-minded in Latin America? Because they've always had to be self-sufficient. Here we have high-speed internet, and it's reasonable. We have access to clean water. It's reasonable. We have access to air conditioning. It's reasonable. Easy times make soft people. Tough times make hard people. Right? What's that phrase? Tough times make hard people. Hard people make easy times. Easy times make soft people. Soft people make hard times. We're going through a transition. And you have to decide what it is you're going to go eat. If you had to, most people wouldn't survive for 40 days, 50 days. They'd have real serious issues. If you had to go take care of your own food. Simple, fundamental, basic. Go take care of your own food. Well, I mean, we're just used to everything being given to us. Having access to it, going to buy it. You cannot buy your freedom. You can't. You can pay for it. You can't buy it. And the paying for it is sharpening your saw, breaking some personal patterns that are not serving you. That's my goal, is to help you find out what is the pattern that you need to break. I have no idea what your pattern is. I can offer some suggestions, but usually it's a lot deeper than that. So I can offer you some suggestions, and then when you decide I'm going that way, because I've broken a lot of patterns in my life, I can offer you suggestions on what would it be like to break some of those patterns. And the biggest story is, who do you become when that pattern is broken? Regardless of what the pattern is, do you have an identity that exists beyond this limited framework of your suffering? What is your identity of success? Who do you become in success? Most people couldn't talk for 30 minutes on it. Who do you become? 7 levels deep. What happens? Well, all of that, I could do that once I have it. Research shows you'll never have it until you are it. Harvard did a study. Sean Aker, The Happiness Factor. Sean Aker from Harvard, graduated from Harvard. They did a study, and they found out people who are rich were happy before they got rich. Richness didn't make them happy. They didn't need to acquire income to become happy. They were happy before they started. 80%. 80%. That's a statistic that is just unquestionable. 80% of the people. So I ask you, How was your yesterday? How was your day before? How was your week so far? Would you chalk it up to 51% joy, 49% suffering? Because average, somewhere in the middle, you're not hitting your buttons. You're not triggering the environment to pay attention to you. When you're mad and aggravated, the environment pays attention. When you're happy and joyful, the environment pays attention. When you're average, you're not a threat. You're not a threat to normalcy. I'm going to offer you the suggestion that you are not normal. You are beyond normal. You are. You're extreme. You're happy. You're sad. You're not normal. You're not like I just want to lay low. If you're here, you want to step out. You want to step up. You want more in life. I'd offer you the opportunity to say, as soon as you make that decision and it becomes non-negotiable, life changes instantly. Instantly. So that's my suggestion for you. Anyone else? Last thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways, take with yous? All righty. Enjoy your Friday. No Saturday call tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday. I hope you have an incredible, absolutely fun-filled day. Spend the time tomorrow that you would normally come and spend with me and you would give to me. Give to yourself. Take an hour and just really from 8 to 9 a.m. Central Time, whatever that corresponds to your time, just say, okay, I'm getting on the call. And get on the call and open your journal and just write down, what do I want? Who do I become when I get what I want? Who do I become when I get what I want? That will change your frequency. And if you do that, congratulations. It'll be one of the most powerful power hours you've ever done. If you choose not and you fill it with something else, that might be a distraction. Just offering that opportunity. All right, everybody. I love you tons. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling misfit. I'll see y'all where?
The next event.
Next event. Somebody give me some Costa Rica.
Pura vida.
Pura vida. We love you, Mark. And some Lydias.
Peace with us all.
Peace be with us all and everyone. And the queen of helping you discover your North Star, Jessie Lee Ward.
Honestly.
Love you, girl. And a little white fluffy.
Gurgly.
Gurgly. Love you tons. There's 3 boys laying in here now, and they all look like they are in harmony and like in a military parade, all pointing the exact same way. All right, everybody, we'll see you on Monday. Love you tons. If you got some questions, reach out. I'm here to help. DM me, text me,